What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the exact testing and scaling strategy that I've used to bring a new Shopify dropshipping store from zero to $64,124 in 52 days. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean. Make sure you subscribe below to get updates and notifications when I upload new video. If you want to learn how to build a successful e-commerce business, then this is the perfect channel for you. Okay, so let's just hop right in here. If you see on the left, this is the store that I brought from zero to $64,124.52 from December 1st to January 22nd. So you can see the uptick from here. It starts on December 1st. This is when I turned on the ads, and you can see just constantly rises all the way from there. So right now we're hitting about maybe $3,500 to $4,000 a day. And on the right here, let's just move this over. This is the exact strategy that I've been using, okay? So let's just hop right in. Actually, before we hop in, if you haven't watched my Shopify, my Facebook ads for Shopify mini series yet, make sure you check that out right after this video. It goes way more in depth with over-the-shoulder training on how I do all of this stuff. So setting up the ads, creating your ad. If you don't know how to do that, if you're a complete beginner, that's the perfect series for you to check out. I'll make a link in the description below, okay? So, testing phase. What do I do here? I started off with 3 products, okay, and each of these have $48 profit per sale. Basically, what that means is just after I subtract the AliExpress cost and also the shipping cost from my product price, what I'm selling it for on my store, it's about $48 profit per sale, okay? So I personally like the higher ticket items. I like things with higher profit because I like to deal with less orders and less logistics than selling like a free plus shipping or a really cheap item where you might have hundreds or thousands of orders, right? So that's just personal preference. You don't have to sell something that has that high of a profit per sale, but that's just what I do. The next bullet down here, this is exactly how I set up my test ads. I have 3 ad sets per product targeting different interest groups. So for 3 products, that's about 9 ad sets total. Each of these ad sets had about 2 to 3 million audience size, and they're targeting different interest groups. So maybe one ad set's targeting magazines, one ad set's targeting like the store interests, and another ad set's targeting maybe the websites, blogs, fan pages, whatever. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about right now, if it sounds pretty foreign to you, again, make sure you check out the Facebook ads for Shopify mini series below, and you'll have a lot more understanding after watching that about interest groups and research targeting, all that stuff. Okay, so next we have the countries. These are the 5 countries that I targeted. I have all these countries in the same ad set. So the USA, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. These were all in one ad set. So I did not set up one ad set per country. I just got lazy and put them all in one ad set. And they had a $25 per day budget. So that's about, what is that? So we had 3 ad sets per campaign or per product. So that's about $75 a day per product, okay? So whatever $75 times 3 is, that's what I was paying per day for my testing, okay? All right, so what was the format of the ad? It was a video ad, okay? And it was a video ad of the product, and I was retargeting with a photo ad, a 1200 by 1200 size photo ad. You can create this photo ad in Canva. Also, you can learn how to, like how I like to find video ads to use. I'll link that video in the description as well. Okay, so after the testing phase, I found actually 2 products out of these 3 that were winners for me, which is surprising because I don't usually find products that fast that do that well. Okay, so I had 2 products. Those 2 products are the ones that are still selling and the ones that are still getting me all the sales that I showed you on the Shopify dashboard. But when do I start scaling? After about 2 to 3 days of consistent sales and positive ROI, I start to scale. Okay, so this is the scaling phase down here. I cut the loser ad sets after 2.5 days. Generally, my rule of thumb is I like to spend about 1.5 times the profit per sale before I cut it. I think 2.5 days is a little bit less. Let's just add it up here. So it's a $48 profit per sale times 1.5. So, you know, using my rule, I would probably spend about $70 or so before I cut the ad set with no sales, but I cut it after 2.5 days, so let's see what that is. 25 times 2.5. about $62. So I spent about $62 before I cut it if it has no sales, okay? So again, this is my method. This is what's worked for me. I'm just sharing you exactly what I'm doing on this store, okay? So that's the first thing. That's when I cut the losers. What is the first thing that I do in the actual scaling? Well, I already mentioned it up here. I have a retargeting that's set up. I have a 1200 by 1200 photo ad for people who have viewed my product page but did not purchase. I also have dynamic product ads set up, which is those carousel looking ads where you can kind of scroll through and you can see like whatever the person viewed on your store, you can see that in that catalog, or they will see that in the catalog. So I use Retarget app for the DPA ads. I'm just lazy. You can set it up manually if you want. It's pretty easy to set up, but I just like to install the app and let it run from there. That is a Shopify app, by the way. Okay, so after the retargeting, I also increased the budget on winners by about 25% daily. So whatever 25% of $25 is, I increase it by that amount daily. And I decrease it the next day if it doesn't do too well, if the ROI starts to drop, I decrease it back. But I like to try doing that first, seeing how increasing the budget works. I also will duplicate the winning $25 ad sets to either $50 or $100, right? So I don't have a hard rule here. If I'm feeling confident, I like to just go for the $100. If I'm not, I might just stick to $50. Like if it's not a huge ROI, but I want to just start getting more data in here as fast as possible, I'll duplicate it at $50, okay? Another thing I'll do that I didn't mention in here, sometimes I'll duplicate it multiple times. So if I have a $25 ad set that's working, sometimes I'll duplicate that maybe 2 or 3 times. Reason being is sometimes you're gonna always find that there's gonna be ad sets that have the same targeting, same everything, but one just significantly outperforms the other. I can't tell you exactly why this is. It could just be because Facebook's, you know, showing it to a different group of people in that pool of 2 to 3 million people. But I like to do that sometimes. I'll duplicate it multiple times just to see how that works, to see if one ad set pulls ahead of the other, and then I'll just cut the ones that don't work, okay? So duplication is another method I've been using on that store. The next one down, testing more tier 1 countries. So more tier 1 countries, maybe France, maybe Germany, Switzerland, those countries. Just type in tier 1 countries into Google and you'll find a bunch that you can try out. You just want it to make sense where their currency is kind of strong, right? Like countries like Mexico or like Philippines, those aren't that good because you know, the US dollar is worth more. So I'd like to test the tier 1 countries. So just type that into Google and you'll find a bunch that you can use, okay? Next one down here, I create lookalike audiences based on different events or different pixel events for my store. So people who viewed the content or viewed the product but did not purchase, people who added to cart, people who initiated checkout, people who actually purchased, I'll create custom audiences and lookalikes based on those. So I'll also test multiple percentages of those lookalike audiences. So when you create the lookalikes, you're gonna notice that you can create more than just 1%, right? It goes all the way up to 10%. So I like to test multiple percentages. You don't have to do this all at once. I get pretty aggressive with my scaling. So what I usually do is I start with view content here and I go from 1 to 10%. So I'll have an ad set for 1%, then I'll have an ad set for 2%, and then 2% excludes the audience that's already in use, which is the 1%, right? That's what I mean here by exclude the in-use audiences. So the 3% lookalike audience will exclude the 2% and 1%, 4% will exclude 3, 2, and 1%, and so on, right? So if I find that the view content is working, I'll usually move on to add to cart, and then I'll exclude all the view content ones, right? So it just keeps going up and up and up from there. So I'll test out the view content one. If that works, I'll go to add to cart. If that works, I'll go to initiate checkout. If that works, I go to purchase, okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Maybe I'll cover this more in depth on a live stream, but that is what I do with lookalikes, and this works very, very well for me. It's what I've done for the last like over a year, and I just use this exact scaling system consistently. This is exactly what I do, okay? And now another thing about scaling that I do, once I find a winning product or something that's bringing consistent sales, I add in some post-purchase upsells of complementary products, right? So let's say that I am selling a, I don't want to give away my product here, but let's say I'm just selling like a kitchen knife, right? And it's a nice kitchen knife, it's selling well, and I want to add in a post-purchase upsell. What I'm gonna do from there is, if it's getting consistent sales, right, and I've already started scaling it, I'll add more post-purchase upsells. So you can use an app like One-Click Upsell or Cart Hook to do this. But basically what I do is, if you wanna learn more about what you can sell as an upsell product, you can just go to Amazon.com. Let's just do kitchen knife here. And let's just see what we can put in as an upsell. So let's just take this. Let's just take this. Amazon gives you good data of what customers also buy. Say frequently also bought together, whatever this is, and maybe cutting boards, right? They also have this section. Customers who bought this item also bought all this stuff. So I guarantee you can find all this stuff on AliExpress. So what I do is I use an app like Cart Hook or One-Click Upsell, and I add in these products as an upsell to it. So you can do that and find products that you can sell pretty easily using this method, but this is my exact strategy here, okay? So this is my testing phase here. This is my scaling phase, and if you guys have questions, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna cut the video right here, but I hope this was really helpful for you guys. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, make sure you join that as well. And hope that was helpful. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.